Hello, and thank you for joining us. You're tuned in to the Africa Briefing Room, bringing you today's most pressing stories from across the continent. Today's news spotlights: Madagascar, where on June 30th, 2025, the government renewed diplomatic requests to France for the return of significant historic sites, royal remains, and the restitution of disputed offshore territories. The move marks an assertive push to address the unresolved legacies of French colonial rule. During talks in Paris, Malagasy officials, led by the foreign minister, officially asked French authorities to return ownership and administrative control of historic sites, such as the Ambo Hijanahari military camp, the former colonial courthouse in Fianarantsoa, and the royal palace of King Toera. Although these landmarks are located in Madagascar, they remain under French legal control or property claims, a lingering legacy of colonial rule that the Malagasy government seeks to resolve. The request also included the return of King Toera's remains, which are currently held in a French museum in Paris and have never been repatriated since the colonial era. For context, France colonized Madagascar in 1896, administering the island until its independence in 1960. During this period, substantial areas were expropriated for military and administrative use, often at the expense of Malagasy authority. The removal of King Toera's remains was part of a broader campaign to undermine the monarchy and silence indigenous power structures. The request for the return of these remains carries substantial symbolic importance, representing Madagascar's efforts to restore its historical integrity and reconnect with its ancestral heritage. Beyond land and royal relics, Madagascar's delegation also restated its claim to several French-administered islands in the Mozambique Channel, Wanda Nova, Europa, and Basas da India, collectively known as the Scattered Islands. Although uninhabited, these islands are highly prized due to their strategic maritime position and natural resources. While France has retained administration since the colonial period, Madagascar argues these islands form an integral part of its sovereign territory. Madagascar's diplomatic initiative is part of a broader trend across Africa. Several nations, including Benin, Senegal, and Algeria, are actively pushing France for the return of art, human remains, and heritage sites as they seek to address colonial injustices. This movement underlines a new diplomatic assertiveness in Africa, placing historical restitution at the center of political dialogue. As of now, France has not made a formal public response to Madagascar's June 30th request. The outcome could set a precedent for future restitution claims and influence the evolving relationship between former colonial powers and African states. Bringing you news from across the continent, this is the Africa Briefing Room.